Here we are. Hi, everybody. Here we are, Saturday night, 8 p.m. Central Time. Linda's not going to be here tonight. She sends best regards. She's got her granddaughter with her. So we're going to have a good show tonight. We've got an amazing dog up here. You're going to really love her. She's that's Honeybee. She's an Akbash. So that notice we had a little bit of an intro here, different than before. Let us know what you think. That was done because apparently there were some emails coming in. People had a tough time finding the show because there wasn't enough time. So try that, see what happens. And we made it where it wasn't so boring while you're watching it. So Roman will be here shortly, hopefully, and we got a good show tonight. So without anything else, we're going to get ready. It might be me and Angie, Foster Angie, hosting the show tonight. We'll see. And Honeybee. We can't forget Honeybee. So Honeybee came in back in December. There was a breeder that, convinced an elderly woman that she needed 2 dogs, and she didn't know any better. And she was in so far over her head, she didn't know which way was up. So and that's how we got Honeybee. And she's a good girl. And I have a little video we made, and then we'll bring her up and go from there. How's that? Here we go. Oh, hi, Angie.
Hi there. Hi, Steve.
Hi, Honeybee.
Honeybee.
Look at this girl. Boy.
There she is.
For those of you wondering where all the fur is, because she doesn't look like the Pyrenees, she kind of appears because she's a descendant of the Pyrenees. She's an Akbash dog.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've noticed in the video, but look at those legs. All the more to jump over fences by. So she'll need a tall fence, won't she, Angie?
Yeah, she will. She hasn't tried too much to do that. The only time that she's kind of tried that is if there's something on top of the fence, but squirrels are running across the fence, she may try to jump up there, but she hasn't been successful. She doesn't try to get out of the yard, I guess is what I'm saying. But
because she wants to stay home.
Yeah, she's got a good thing.
Lori said, what a sweet girl. Now, Lori has an Akbash mix, too, out in New York. She's wearing her bee accessory.
This is her little bee, yeah. One of our Instagram friends, they make these. And so this one had little honeybees on it. And so she sent that to Honeybee as a gift.
What a coincidence, because that's her name.
So she's accessorizing.
Now, you were telling me when before the show started something about her Instagram account, that you've got folks from where her birthplace is, as a matter of fact. That's on her Instagram. Is that correct?
Yeah, I started her an Instagram page, and so she's got a lot of fellow dog friends on Instagram, and I decided, I need to connect with some other Akbash owners, and so in just searching that hashtag, started following a lot of other Akbash dog accounts, and quite a few of them were from Turkey. Not that they would adopt her, but it's still fun to
Might have a
see.
problem transporting.
Yeah, might be a problem. It's still fun to see the breed, and a lot of those, they're, working dogs, and it's just kind of fun to see those breeds in action.
Yes, it is. The Akbash is a little bit different now, and she's a little different too. What I'm hearing, they're not big barkers. When they sense the threat, actually, they posture and go silent. The ones I've had have. Now, we were told when we brought her in that she was a mix, but boy, I'll tell you, I don't see anything else in her myself. But
Hey, come here.
I've never met her in person. So, but Angie did mention that she goes out by the fence and barks, huh?
Yeah, she does. She, in my neighborhood, I back up to kind of a busy road, and then there's a neighborhood on the other side. And I think, especially in the evening, she hears other dogs barking, and she's just talking. That's her social media. She's talking back to them. So, but yeah, so we're working with her on getting her to come when she's called, but that's a challenge. If she's busy out there barking and talking to another dog and doing her thing, then I have to kind of go out and put her on a leash and bring her in. But
and that falls under the same category as the Great Pyrenees, because she is a guardian breed.
Yeah.
And if they're working, if there's sensed a potential threat, no, you're not going to be able to get her in until you relieve her of her duty. The only way you're going to relieve a guardian breed of the duty is if they know that you're capable of doing their job. Then they will be okay with that. So, but apparently you all have come to an agreement, and you guys get her in. So,
yeah.
Well, I just love that girl now. I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah, she's sweet.
Yeah. And she seems to do a lot of looking out the window, doesn't she?
Yeah, she does. She keeps those tabs on the yard and the fence. And it was funny this morning. She went kind of bazonk, kind of crazy, because there was a possum on top of the fence out back.
On top of your fence?
On top, walking across the top of the fence. And this was early in the morning, so it was daylight, but yet it was there. And I'd seen possum out there before, but this one was a mama with babies on her back. I hadn't seen that before, but yeah, we did not let her out, but she was, she took notice and was going to save us from that possum.
Wow. Can you read the comments up there, Angie? That one's actually directed to you, it looks like.
Oh, yeah. Very nice. Oh,
they also have an Akbash. Everybody that watches our show knows that it's a show about dogs, and it's not unusual to hear a dog bark on our show. All right. Hi, Rena. How you doing tonight? Nancy wants to know how old Honeybee is.
She turned 3 in December.
Okay, so she's still young, but according to humans, she's an adult now, right?
She's very mature for her age.
Yeah. Now, I've got this. What in the heck is going on there?
Well, that was, from a couple months ago, before we had leaves on the trees, obviously, but she finds a squirrel, and when it runs straight up, she just sits underneath that tree and watches it. And, I can tell when I haven't heard her barking out back, that means she's focused on something. So
she's captivated, it looks like.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty funny. And she'll sit there for, 20, 30 minutes, long time, just staring up, watching the squirrels. So
how does she do with other dogs?
She does great with other dogs. Yeah. That's Coulter. He's a peer, and they play. He's 7 years old. So she moves a lot faster than he does, especially with those long legs. And
she moves faster anyway, I was going to say.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, they get along great and play around, and, they're not like cuddling type dogs. They don't cuddle together or anything like that, of course, but they get along great. Neither one of them is an alpha. So there's really no issue. She doesn't guard food or guard people or anything like that, or get jealous if, we're petting him and she's not getting attention. So she does great. And she's been around some other dogs too, and has, shown no aggression or anything. We introduced her to one of my friend's dogs, and it's a Doberman. And and the Doberman wanted to play and kept trying to play, and Honeybee just wasn't in the mood and just would move away, just kept moving away from her, but didn't try to correct the younger dog or show any kind of aggression.
She just walked away.
Yeah, she just tried to, kind of get away from the dog. But she was busy focusing on the trees, so she was working. But she
Laurie
loves
said
other
that
dogs.
Mr. Tibbs walks the fence line, checks all the new smells regularly, and he barks at the new stuff.
Yeah.
He also looks up a tree too, so
Yeah.
must be a tree thing in Turkey. She's gorgeous. She's just absolutely beautiful.
You can see more of her
wow.
body here. She's so close to the table. I can't show her most of her body. She likes to stand a lot.
Right.
She doesn't sit too much. She prefers to stand. But it's funny to take pictures of her when she does sit or lay down. Her knees stick straight out.
You mean something like that?
Like that. I saw that last weekend. I said, that is too cute. Yeah.
And it looks like she's doing good enough on a walk that you can walk two dogs at the same time, or you're hanging on for dear life.
No, we were walking two at the same time. And see, those knots that I have in her leash are, for me to get closer to her, to keep her closer to me. I'll hang on to those knots as I just walk her. But she does better on a leash than she did before. When I first had her, when we would go for a walk, she saw a squirrel and took off after that thing. And it was all I could do to hang on and hold her back. But we haven't encountered a squirrel situation like that. So I don't know if she's gotten any better, but I'm ready for it. I keep my eyes.
What about cats? Do you have any cats?
No. And she really hasn't been around cats here. I understand maybe at her previous home that she had cats, but.
Oh, that's right. She lived with cats in her previous home. Last we heard. That's right.
No, she hasn't.
I think the video said that too.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. No, I don't have cats, and there really aren't. There's a few in the neighborhood, but she doesn't really ever encounter them.
Okay.
So,
all right. What about kids?
She's good with kids. She hasn't been around a whole lot, but she's such a great size with how tall she is that, there was a group of kids that were around her, and they came over and just wanted to pet her and, just kind of touch her.
And she was good.
And she just stood there, and she's a real laid back dog. She doesn't get too worked up over anything, unless she's decided she needs to work, but she's very sweet.
Wow.
Yeah.
You think she could be placed with preteen children? She doesn't have a high energy level. The breed typically doesn't.
Yeah, no, I think she would do well with about anyone.
Okay.
And unless it was someone, if it was someone that was too young or maybe too old or too weak, if they were in a situation where they had her leash and she did decide to jerk, she could pull someone over pretty quickly. Okay. She is very strong. She's about 90 pounds.
Have you ever seen her bare her teeth at anybody?
No.
Okay. Now I'm going to bring Roman up. Roman's down there. Roman is the one that actually recommended she come into rescue. Okay. How about that?
Good girl.
There she is, Roman. There's Miss Honeybee.
Honeybee.
Let's make her big.
There she is.
Isn't she gorgeous?
She loves her treats, that's for sure. She takes them so sweet, and if you need to do anything to her, if you need to open up her mouth or anything, she's perfectly fine with that. The only thing that that's a good one, in the snow. Yeah. When her paws are wet and she comes in, I'll kind of wipe her paws off, or she has snow on them or something, and she she tolerates that, but she'll kind of try to pull them away. But she's learning that that's the routine. If she's got wet paws, we wipe them off.
Now, did I hear that when it's cold out, she doesn't care for that too much?
We had some temperatures that were below freezing not too long ago, and she would go out and do her business, but then she came back in. She didn't want to just hang out.
Unlike most Pyrenees.
Yeah. I mean, if it's 40s, that's fine. If it gets below freezing, though, she doesn't have a big coat on, so it's cold.
That's an amazing profile view of her, isn't it?
Yeah, she's of course looking up into a tree.
She seems to have a habit of that, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
She looks like a greyhound.
Yeah, but she's an Akbash. She's a beautiful dog. I'm a little partial.
I'm going to give you a different view of her here.
Look at her.
I like her tall legs. She's really tall.
Yeah. Did you
Well, yeah, that's typical of the breed. They're jumpers. Do you remember much about her when you was working with her former mom?
Man, that was like a couple of months ago.
Yeah. November, you were working with her. We brought her in December.
Yeah.
This is just one amazing dog.
Yeah, she's a good one.
Well, there were two dogs. There were two dogs involved. It was just too much for somebody.
Brother and sister, right?
Yeah. And their life circumstances were very complex.
Yes. And is that some of the bee accessories that goes with her?
Yeah. That's a couple little things that wrap around the collar. That little business card that's there is the gal that makes it. And my previous dog was a Portuguese water dog, and so the gal that makes these has Portuguese water dogs, and so that's how we connected.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, and so she sent them.
Yeah, well,
it's got little honeybees on it, but it just wraps around the collar.
Oh,
cool.
Yeah.
In the video, it said some of the rewards of fostering is you can make a badass guardian breed look like that.
A guardian bunny.
A guardian bunny.
She didn't care for that too much. That didn't stay on very long.
She didn't look amused. So let's see what our comments are.
She humors me.
Yeah. We're going to say hi to some of our guests. Hi, Marty and Lori. It's good to see you again. Nancy. Now, Nancy's out in Colorado, and she's with Rescue out there, and they just had a scare. They had a fire that came dangerously close to their facility. So thank goodness everybody's okay. Fire's out. Okay. And everybody, all the dogs at the Fury Rescue and Sanctuary in Peyton, Colorado are good. So that was a close one up there. And, they don't know what caused it, but everybody is safe. Fields right behind them got burned. Yes. So, also too, before
who's gonna adopt Honeybee?
Well,
someone lucky.
Now, would she do better with another dog, or is she good as an only dog, Angie?
She would love to have another dog.
Thank you.
Yeah,
she's really codependent.
Is
she?
Okay.
Yeah, she loves other dogs, and
because I think what you're barking at the back of the fence, that may be not near as bad if she had another dog there to help.
Yeah.
But then I could be wrong too.
When the Coulter, the Pyrenees, is with her, they get along great. And when he's not here, I think she gets bored with just me. So.
Okay. So there you have it. Honeybee to do well with another dog. So GPRescue.com, if you want to learn more about Honeybee's, her bio's up there, and you can read about her, and you can apply for her right there. And I tell you what, whoever gets her is going to hit the jackpot.
Mm-hmm.
An Easter bunny jackpot.
The Easter bunny jackpot. So GPRescue.com. That's where you go. Go ahead and see something. Something was mentioned to me I don't know, yesterday that she looks underweight. Now, the physique of an Akbash is just like that. Okay, now she could be a little under. I'm not a vet, but if you can see her ribs, let's get some meat on her bones. But but they're a slender build anyway to start with. So
Well, she has a healthy appetite and she gets quite a bit of food and treats and whatnot. But yeah, she's 90 pounds.
that's
Or
good
at
size
least,
for a female Akbash.
yeah, or at least she was in when I first took her to the vet when I first got her. So she may have added a little bit more, but
Okay.
yeah,
Wow.
she's got a good metabolism, I think.
Awesome. So now she's being you're fostering her in Kansas, right?
Yes, we're in Wichita, which is
Yep.
South Central.
Yep.
Kansas.
But don't let that deter you if, because we do have transport available. Okay.
Yeah.
So also too, I forgot to bring it up. Our giveaway drawing. Okay. If you type in hashtag GPRM into the comments, you won't be able to do it, Angie, unless you sign on with your phone or something. And if you need anything for her, I'll just buy it and send it. Okay. I've been trying to figure out how to get her here.
She's
But
well taken care of.
with my boy, it's just, he's crippled and I just got my hands full with him right now. But maybe she could help. Hashtag GPRM, put them in the comments, and we're going to do another leash this week. Okay. We have different colors. You're not stuck with blue. And so type that in the comments, and that enters you in the drawing. So we'll do that at the end of the show. Anything you'd like to add about her, Angie, before we move on to our what could be a lengthy talking point?
Well, she likes to sleep in the morning. It's funny, the previous dog that I had her for about 16 years. She would wake me up in the morning when she was ready to get up and go outside. She'd get me up, but Honeybee doesn't do that at all. Like sometimes I have to go get her out of bed just to like, come on, time to get up. So
Wow.
yeah, when she sleeps, she sleeps. So
So she obviously never was a working dog, because they sleep with one ear up.
She's not on a work schedule, at least.
Yeah.
Which is kind of nice,
Oh.
if I,
Hang on
on the
just a second.
weekend, if I need to not wake up to the alarm, then she's not my alarm. She won't wake me up.
All right. So, well, so much for an internal alarm clock on her, because, well, she's carefree.
Yeah, there you go.
You're not requiring it. So that's good. All right. Don't forget hashtag GPRM. All right. So I believe, if I remember right, before the show, Angie, you said you could stay up here and me and Roman will take it from here.
Yep.
And then also too, if people have any comments or questions about her, we can still ask you that way.
Yeah.
So now, hi, Roman.
Hello.
You got your Wi-Fi up and running.
Yeah, it was kind of a disaster.
Honeybee's looking good, isn't she?
Yeah, she's pretty.
Yeah.
I've never seen her actually in action.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, one
right.
problem we had back then was we didn't have a good internet connection, so we were basically on the phone.
And she was overwhelmed. She had that person that talked her into doing that really put her in a position, didn't they? But I'll tell you what, I just can't get enough of that. I keep telling my Great Pyrenees, all of them, that they're lucky I didn't meet an Akbash first. So anyway, so tonight we're going to talk about something that I encountered a few nights ago. Oh, wait a minute here. I have a funny feeling, Angie, that Marty knows Coulter.
Marty's Coulter's dad. Yeah.
Okay. Hi, Marty. Nice to meet you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So anyway, our talking point tonight is about anti-anxieties. All right. Now, here's what I encountered here this past week. The dog had another issue, something or another, and they had called their vet and mentioned that this was this behavior, and the vet prescribed Prozac to this Anatolian Shepherd. Okay. Now, I don't know if you guys are aware or not, but one of the behaviors of a Great Pyrenees typically is not anxiety. Okay. They go out in the fields by themselves, especially separation anxiety. Now, can they have it? Yes, they can. Okay. They're capable, but that is really misdiagnosed badly. Don't you agree, Roman?
Well, I don't know the particular case, but I know one thing, that it's usually anxiety in dogs is misdiagnosed, because we barely, people who have dogs who have anxiety or think they have anxiety, they take that name and bring it to the vet, and the vet doesn't see the anxiety itself because he only sees a dog being in the clinic. And so he has to trust the person, but the person is not a professional. So therefore, we have this weird lack of information and translation of what's really happening and what's supposed to happen and what the veterinarian sees and what the person says. And so that's why it's usually overdosed and overused in
Yeah.
general,
All
to the
right.
point that actually there are a lot of articles written about it. The
Well,
veterinarians
here's one right
really
here.
Yep.
Well, let's look at the side effects of it. It's right here in writing. That's actually page 1, page 2. There's 2 pages of side effects. Okay. One of the side effects is aggression. Okay. It can create aggression in a dog.
Mm-hmm.
But yet the vets are given this particular drug to the dog to treat aggression. Wait a minute. I don't understand that one. Can you explain that one to me, Roman? Now, don't get me
Well,
wrong. We're not going to slam anybody
no,
here.
right.
Okay?
First of all, we are not veterinarians, but
Right.
if somebody tells the veterinarian my dog is aggressive, let's define aggression. Anyone? Can anyone define aggression? Because if you bring 50 of the best behaviorists on the table and have everybody tells you what aggression is, you're going to find likely 10 to 15 different versions of aggression.
And
So
if you
if
lock
I
the
said,
door, you'll start a riot.
right? So you tell me about aggression. I have a certain aggression in mind, and then a client says aggression. He has a, so there's all these different versions of it.
Right.
So I don't believe dogs are really dealing with aggression in when they are normal, right? Aggression, from my perspective, how I see it, is a behavior that is about how to affect the environment so I can survive. It's a survival behavior.
That would be my only definition, because anything else, they're reacting to something. Something's triggered this. Okay.
Well, for a dog to behave or to make a behavior, he needs a trigger. And when the trigger kicks in, then there's an emotion following. And when the emotion follows, then the behavior will follow. Now, if I have a Pyrenees whose behavior traits are to show aggression, to prevent things from happening in the future, he's proactively showing a behavior he was bred to do. Now, why would I medically treat that what the dog
A
being
breed
bred
trait.
to do?
A breed trait. Yes.
Right? Because I don't like it? Like, is it a don't like behavior drug?
Right. Always remember, most vets are not behaviorists at all.
Well, many vets haven't seen a Pyrenees close.
And a lot of them have never seen a Great Pyrenees.
Right.
Okay. They don't metabolize drugs the same way. And
No.
also, too, the dog, this Anatolian Shepherd that I'm working with, he gave the dog an anti-anxiety med over the phone. And what happens if this has nothing to do with anxiety? Aren't we treating something that's not there?
Well, let me put some things in the thought. What does exactly do when we give the dog Prozac? It kind of like affects the dog's nervous system, and it causes something to change. Now, if I would be a bodyguard and I have to take care of 50 children and I don't feel well, I
Sorry,
feel
Roman.
right, and I feel a little bit dizzy, and I feel a little bit like off, and I feel a little bit kind of like strange. That makes me frustrating because I want to be alert, and now my system fights it against it. And so frustration can cause aggression itself. And so we have to be very careful how we do the assessment.
Mhm.
And I know many veterinarians are not behaviorists. They're doing great what they do, but behaviorists, veterinary behaviors, is and additional education on top of the classical
Yes.
veterinarian,
Yes.
which means there is more education involved. And I'm far away of being close to a veterinary behaviorist because I don't have a clue how chemically those nervous system work and how chemically this body works. That's the job of veterinary behaviorist. But at the same time, how many veterinary behaviorists have dealt with Pyrenees?
There's
And
a interesting question right
right?
there.
And how many veterinary behaviorists have left the office to go in a property to see how a Pyrenees works or
Mhm.
how the dog works?
Yep.
And how will a Pyrenees work or show a behavior in the veterinarian's office after he got in the car, after he got frustrated in the car, after he barked his way up the street into the vet clinic, dealing with other stuff, and then he's there, have to be assessed. I
Yep.
don't. How can I make the assessment for a dog who is already stressed getting there?
Yeah. And if it's their environment at home causing the stress, you're taking them out of the stressful situation
Right.
to get assessed for stress. Right. So, um, and keep in mind, veterinary behaviorists, these people are very, very, very sharp. Okay.
No, we
And they
work
will be the
closely.
first ones to tell you that, hopefully, that they don't have experience with a certain breed, because sometimes that takes a certain breed, okay, a certain person. Right.
So we have to see this magic triangle. The person who doesn't speak the language of behavior or veterinarian, the behavior consultant who understands the breed, understand the training, understand the family, but doesn't understand the chemicals, and then the veterinary behaviorist who understands the chemical, understands of basic chemical behaviors and how things come up, and then we make all those triangle to function with each other, so everybody speaks the same language, so I can take the medication and bring it to the client and build a program around that and monitor the medication and monitor the dog and can do adjustments. But giving the dog a medication and send him home and have the unknown unexperienced client deal with it
Right.
and dose himself, well, if you feel like put some another like gram on top of it per kilogram, or sorry, per pound, or wait a minute, what exactly is it, kilogram or pound?
It's kilogram or pound. Depends on
Right.
where you get it. And it's just, and also too, a drug like that should be the last resort. But yet, I read and seeing online that trainers, keep in mind, you're not going to train behavior out of a dog by making them sit and stay and go down, stuff like that. But that's the first thing they do is give them, anti-anxiety. Well, me, I want to know the dog. I need to meet the dog and see what's going on with the dog, because now you've got a personality that's capable of being chemically induced, and that's not the
Mhm.
dog's normal personality. So, but and for whatever it's worth, all these years of working with this breed, I've never had to medicate one with anything like that ever. So, um, getting some comments up there on her, Angie. She's a beautiful dog. Yes, Elizabeth. She is so pretty, isn't she? She's she's one of a kind. But so now, is my vet a bad vet because he did this? Well, I've run into some instances where, like this one here, could have also have been. Well, they prescribed the Prozac because, well, the parent was so stressed out because her child just got bit or something, and he prescribed the dog Prozac. Well, for her, look, see, I'm doing something. All right. Well, that's definitely not the right reason to make him a bad vet. No, he's not a bad vet.
Sorry, the dog bit the child. My question is, why did the dog bite the child?
And that's
And
not a question that
who
was asked in this case.
who should get the medication, the child or the dog? I missed that part.
Yeah. Or the parent, even.
Or the mom, right?
Right.
The dad.
So, but, and with the guardian breeds, man, in my opinion, don't go medicating them. Not yet. let's and if a trainer can't help, let's go to the next level. Okay. And if behaviors can't help, but you know what we have the ability to do? Bring in veterinary behaviorists that's experienced with the breed at hand. Okay. I work with a few of them. I found out one or two of them are a member of the AVSAB, actually, which is irrelevant. But we can bring people in. They study what drug does what. Okay. Now, that being said, there's alternatives to Phylloxetine. All right. And that's what the veterinary behaviorists will understand if it ever comes to that. Okay. Just because I've never had to do this doesn't mean it didn't have to be done by other people. Okay. I don't know if you ever happen to recommend something like that. Have you, Roman?
Um, Me personally, I'm not recommending any medication because I'm not entitled to recommend medication. But if I see
Right.
the dog needs chemical support because I see the dog lacks of being able to manage his nervous system, then I would recommend, hey, maybe we should bring in a veterinary behaviorist and put together the questions, right? The veterinarian needs to make the right decision. What's going on, when it's going on, how long does it last? So we have kind of a baseline, and then we start the medication and compare with the baseline and say, we see, you know what? I think we should remain on the lower, and maybe we should stop a little bit because the dog starts having a reaction, and then wait a little bit and then kick it in again. Because often when the dog gets into this kind of nervous medication, usually there is an increase on the behavior and then there is a gap, like a curve, that we want to stop the medication for a while until the body gets used to it, and then we bring it back in again. And on the other fact, this is addictive medication. You cannot just stop it whenever you want and start it whenever you want. You have to titre it in and then titre it out.
Yes, absolutely. As a matter of fact, the dog I'm working with, and this is actually borderline backfiring. All right, with this particular dog, and and I've seen this a lot with the guardian breeds. Naturally, my breeds, Great Pyrenees and Akbash, Marem, and Kuvas. But I've seen the Great Pyrenees. Um, well, it takes what 4 to 5 weeks to get it into their system, and then we find out it's backfiring. The dog wants to eat mom, dad, and everybody around. Well,
Yeah,
now
because
it takes 2 months to get it back out while it's backfiring.
everybody relies on the medication,
Yes.
right? But we have to see if a dog has a behavior, we need to see the whole spectrum of what the behavior, what is the environment that triggers that dog. We
Yes.
see what the dog, let's say, for example, two dogs get in a fight. Okay. Now we call the one dog aggressive because he fight the other dog. We don't look at the other dog that he was actually the bully, but
Right.
because he didn't fight, that makes me not guilty. But the other guy who resisted makes him guilty.
Hmm.
And then all of a sudden we treat the wrong dog,
Right.
right?
And the other
I
dog, and that dog is saying, "I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything." But
right,
but you can't hear them normally.
right.
That's what behaviors can do.
One
You
one
can hear
thing
your
that we
dog.
know from guardian breeds, and sorry, my voice is falling apart,
I see
is
that.
that guardian breeds have a high sense of justice.
Yes, they
What
do.
does justice mean? I don't see justified that this dog get affection for not being appropriately behaving with the guardian. And therefore, the dog who's guarding the family goes after the dog who is not rightful. And that causes
Mhm.
internal friction. So we
Right.
have a role dispute, or I would call it like a legal dispute, where dogs don't do the right job. People reinforce that bad behavior, and the dog who does the right behavior then addresses the dog who is wrong, try to fix these things.
Okay.
Oh,
And
Nancy, we have
yeah, hi Nancy. She seems to know quite a bit about Honeybee. She does very well with cats. Sorry, we're going to interrupt our topic here because this is important. Okay. Matter of fact, sorry, Roman. Here we go again. Oh, I'm not making you dizzy.
You sick?
So wow, thanks, Nancy. That's good to know because Angie doesn't have cats, but look how good she's doing. Look how well she's doing. And
She's such a curious dog. She's like, let me know what you guys doing. What do you guys do? Can I do that too? Kind of thing. I think she's kind of like no end potential dog.
right, right. And like I said, that breeder took advantage of Nancy. Now you're here. Everybody knows she was yours, and this was not on Nancy in any way, shape, or form. Okay, Roman identified it. She did everything right. She reached out when she needed help. She reached out. She reached out to Roman, and Roman quickly identified, wow, we have a little problem here. She's in way over her head. Why do you have two dogs? Well, they told me to. So,
Yeah.
and now we have her back in December. So,
Well, that would be a
Nancy
classic
did.
example, right? Well, give the
Yeah.
dog medication.
Yeah.
Fix the problem, right?
Right.
Having
And
a
that's what
drug
she did.
addict. Yeah.
Not very often Roman will recommend a dog to rescue at all, but this was
No.
in a crisis situation, and it's nothing to do with Nancy. She was doing what she was asked. She did everything right, reached out for help, and then, well, she surrendered her to, well, the best place that you could possibly surrender to in the area. So thank you, Nancy. You took very good care of her. And there's her foster mama right there. So do you guys stay in touch by any chance? Do you guys know each other?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. All right. That was Honeybee's former mom. So, and Lori's right. She keeps looking at Angie for approval. What's next? Help, guidance, or approval. So, those are learned behaviors that we want them to learn as early as they can. Yes, and Honeybee will get adopted. Okay, we have no doubt in our minds, and then Angie can save another life when it comes to it. So, all right, let's go back
So
here.
answering your question, I worked with a couple of dogs that needed chemical support
Mhm.
because they had neurological issues. And for us to overcome certain obstacles, we needed a dog to kind of flatten his nervous system a little bit so we can actually start working on it. But as we start working on it and the chemicals on the medication starts kicking in, we already see the improvement because we had already prepared the foundation for the medication to be able to function. So we have to see that as a complete system, not just individual. And I know people says, well, instead of giving Phylloxetine, maybe we give the dog CBD, give the dog herbals. Again, it's not different. It's not different with the concept of the medication or the supplement alone will not do the job if we don't do the proper assessment, which is 99.9% of the solution. If you don't do the assessment right, whatever you do is not going to work.
That's right. So, yeah, Angie's done pretty well bringing the best out in her, hasn't she? You're welcome, Nancy. But that's all we know how to do is take the best care of the dogs. So, now let's go back to the known side effects. Okay, these are pretty big. All right. Actually, the side effects actually start on page 2. This is something I wanted to bring up. These are excerpts from a website, and every place I went, and you can Google it yourself. Every place I went, what goes with the anti-anxiety is a behavior plan with a behaviorist. Okay. And apparently there are behaviorists that know how to work a dog that's on anti-anxiety meds. I'm not one of them. All right. He has to be off the meds before I can be involved. So the most common side effects are they become lethargic, a change in appetite, changes of weight, runny nose, dry mouth, drowsiness, weakness, sore throat, nausea. Man, and when does it stop? Nausea or diarrhea. And the behavioral, now that's just the physical side effects. The behavioral side effects include anxiety. We're creating anxiety in a breed that doesn't typically have it. Okay, we can't possibly. Panic attacks, trouble sleeping, irritability and agitation. We don't want we don't want to agitate our own guardian breeds. Hostility.
Right.
Now that's pretty big, isn't it? Aggression? Wait a minute. That's what he's being treated for sometimes. Restlessness, hyperactive. You know, if it were me, those side effects are way, way too many. And these are
Well,
documented side effects because they've experienced it.
the problem with that we try to do with fluoxetine is basically blocking the serotonin transmission and how it
Serotonin, yes.
works. And it's serotonin is a kind of very complex the way it works, and we don't have 100% a clear understanding. It affects the mood, cognition, um, the way the dog rewards himself, the way the dog learns, right? The dog's memory. And if we don't understand how the dog functions as a breed, then adding something that changes the way the dog works is a slippery slope.
Oh boy, yes. Ain't that something? Um, I'm getting ready to share a screen, Roman. I was hoping that you would, but you had a little. Roman has some technical issues here.
Yeah, technical issues.
So what I'm going to do here is I'm not going to use my second screen. That's where the drawing tool is. But I'm going to share a screen of a study summary that was published last year, July of 2021. Okay, and it you actually only have to read just the first part of it. Okay, it's kind of the summary of it all. All right. Now I'm going to take the tab off, put it over here so I can see what the heck I'm doing. And I'll tell you what, whoops, what the heck am I doing? There we go. I figured out what I was doing. That's what I wanted.
Yeah.
Okay. This was last year. Yeah. This was last year, right, Roman? That's what it says right here, July 9th, 2021. In that very first sentence, or this very first paragraph right here, is alarming. Okay, this is alarming. And how did Prozac ever come to dogs anyway? Well, back in 2007, all of a sudden it appeared. Here we go. Now you can use Prozac for separation anxiety in dogs.
Well, Prozac, the study of Prozac for people has actually stopped. We're not doing anything anymore.
Yes, it has.
And so, we need to keep the market open as a company who sells the pharmacy. How can we apply it? Maybe we can give it to snakes. Why not? And we can give it to frogs. Why not? So they tried to sell it. And just because they tried to sell it doesn't mean we have to kind of hop on the wagon, right?
Yeah. Now, B says trazodone wasn't mentioned, or we're fixing to. That's what vet prescribed here for a lot of noise, etc., anxiety, not long term. Well, with my experience with the breed over all these years, there are three. There are three drugs that I won't give a guardian breed because it's a crapshoot. It's a crapshoot, and I don't want to take that chance with my dog, okay, or anybody's dog. And the three drugs are obviously Prozac and Phylloxetine. And the next one is isopropidine. Am I saying that right? The ACE is a oral sedative.
Yeah. ACE. Don't even start with ACE.
Yeah, don't do ACE. And then the third one, because it's a crapshoot, is the trazodone. Fortunately, trazodone exits the system quickly. All right, if there is a fortunate there. All right, so we just want to be aware here of what we give the dogs. Now, you're saying that a lot for noise-induced anxiety. Okay, I guess that would depend on what the dog's reaction is to the noise.
Let's give it an example.
Okay.
When dogs are sensitive to noise, number one, pain, discomfort, including ear infection, including fear. Okay, if a dog has PTSD and is early puppyhood has been in a very stressful environment, the dog will be sensitive to sound. Okay, is sensitive to the vacuum cleaner, sensitive to the truck, to the motorcycle, right, to the garage door, to the phone ringing, to the alarm system. Remember the other lady that got almost killed or almost killed? She got mauled by two dogs. The
Mhm.
alarm system triggered the dogs.
Yeah. All right. And so, and trazodone is a sleeping pill for humans. Okay.
I
And
I don't like trazodone. I mean,
neither do I.
trazodone, I kind of see the function of getting the dog to the vet, okay, or
Mhm.
helping the dog for transport, but I don't think it would be a good idea to have the dog kind of like tranquilized and start working with him. He will not be able to process anything. It's more kind of delusional.
Mhm. All right. So you do this for the fireworks, B. B, let me ask you a question. Does it work? Okay. Simple as that. Does it work to your satisfaction? Do you see any difference or did it backfire?
Were
Right.
you able to wind it out? My
Right.
question always is, if you put medication in the dog system, does it improve the behavior? I can only see it if I take it out of the system.
Right.
But people get stuck with it, right?
Mhm. Let's see what she said. Oh, they gave it to her to keep her sleepy after she was spayed. Okay.
Hmm. My
Um,
question always,
I don't
after
know.
dogs being spayed and nurtured, did the dog being helped with medication for pain? And then the most important factor, is there a plan to supplement the dog's hormones after spaying and neutering? Because in Europe, it's very common that you get out of the spay and neutering clinic and you get a package of hormone supplements on your way out. But that's not happening here.
Right. Now, Lori said motorcycles. So, motorcycles and fireworks, thunderstorms, those are a little different because there's more to those than just the noise. But that can be a challenge with a lot of dogs. All right. What do we do? Well, that's going to depend on the individual dog. Okay. There's no generalized answer to that one. Well, there's different things that we can try, but you shouldn't have to medicate your dog because of fireworks. Well, if you have a basement, let's go in the basement where it's not as much noise down there. Turn some music on a little bit. Maybe he'll dance for you. Maybe you didn't know he could dance.
We
Uh,
can dance.
yeah, number of things that we can try, but the trazodone, and once again, the guardian breeds, they don't metabolize things properly a lot of times is the problem. Okay? So she hasn't experienced the fireworks yet. The neighbor's peer wasn't phased by trazodone nor the calming agents for fireworks. It's the sadness that's hard. A radio in the background helps. Okay. So there's some other things that you can try. When you have fireworks and a scared dog, please don't hug your dog. Okay. If you think the dog can be comforted by hugging, well, then you've got a thunder shirt. Well, before you rush out and buy a thunder shirt, try harness. That can act like a hug sometimes too. All right.
Very simple. You can use those gauzes, the long ones, and start wrapping your dog with it, or take a shirt.
Yeah, there you go. My wife made Spanx for one of my dogs.
Mm.
That stretchy material. Women know about that, um, and some men probably. So, wow, Prozac, that is a heavy duty drug. Okay, now, now I promised we'd talk about the pro side, the advantages, and unfortunately, I just haven't seen any in my breed, the Great Pyrenees. Now, I have heard that makes my dog sleep. I don't think that was what it was intended to do. Okay. Um, and then we've had the ones that's backfired, and the dog gets extremely agitated. You don't want to agitate your Great Pyrenees or your Akbash or whatever, even whatever breed it is. Now, other breeds, well, I don't know, but I have heard Roman would know more about that. But I have heard that it has helped other dogs.
Yeah, well, some dogs, let's say, for example, you have a dog who's being bred multiple times and he comes in. Who is that?
She's in a group, and Facebook has a hard time. Well, Facebook does not have a hard time. We have a hard time because of Facebook. If you're watching the show from a private group, you have to give Facebook permission like once every 5 or 6 months or something like that to let your comments and your profile leave that group. You wrote the comment, you can see how we see you. We don't know who you are. All right. So, but to answer, and in the description of the show for that group, there's a link there that you can click. And all you got to do is say yes or I agree, whatever it is. And then we can see who you are. You don't have to do it for every show. So I would love to have your information. And let me put my email up here so you can send it to me. And we will look, see what you have. Because I'll tell you what, thunderstorms, fireworks, and all that kind of stuff, we accept help from anywhere. We're not here to say we know it all and you know nothing, because that's not how we work.
We have to be careful the way we kind of stamp behaviors, because anxiety and fear, they're not just behaviors. The dog doesn't often have a choice what to do. It's a disorder, right? And so when we say my dog has anxiety of thunder anxiety, well, maybe it's not the thunder anxiety. Maybe it's a PTSD response that happens. So we need to really even that to do the assessment. So we shouldn't hop on quickly and put some medications on and double it's going to fix it, and have the dog continue struggling with it. It's just being numb about it. So when working with other breeds, because I work a lot with complex breeds and complex behaviors, I see very often breeds like terriers, like bull terriers,
Jack Russells,
right? And dogs who come from heavy breeding facilities, like those people who buy dogs from online breeders, and they come with heavy neurological issues, early puppyhood trauma, and they cannot cope with regular stress. They literally shut down, like the doorbell ringing, and the dog goes into panic attack, right? And there are sometimes trauma that comes in genetically from the parents, and sometimes that medication helps a lot to help the dogs get into that level. So my suggestion is always, I'm not saying don't trust your vet, okay? We're not saying don't give your dog medication the veterinarian prescribed, but I always would ask the question, why? Why do you think that's the right choice to do? Do we have alternative options? Maybe should I talk to a behaviorist or a behavior consultant? And I'm not talking about trainers. Let's make it clear. So veterinarians direct people to trainers, okay? If there's a behavior issue, veterinarians don't have somewhere to send people, because finding a behaviorist who actually understands the breed is like hundreds of miles away, right?
Yes.
And it's also a responsibility of a veterinarian. What's going to happen if I send my client to somebody else?
Right.
And so we have those issues. But I feel sometimes starting with a behavior consultant that can help you navigate which direction to go, what question to ask, what tests the veterinarian should do. Okay.
Right.
So,
hey, Roman, let me stop you just for a second. Angie has to say goodbye. All right. And
yeah, me too.
so that means Honeybee has to say goodbye. Also.
Goodbye, Honeybee.
Bye, Honeybee. It was great to see you.
Can you sit?
I can't wait to continue to watch for her. Angie, thank you so much for fostering her and then bringing her on.
Yeah, well,
this
she loved it.
Time she's been on. You were on when you first got her, huh?
Yeah. We were on. I think I'd had her for about a week the first time we went on. So we appreciate it.
All right, Angie, I'm going to take you down to the green room, and thank you for coming on. And I got to hang on a second. Roman's going to like this. All right. Bye, Angie. Check this out, Roman. What do you think of that new template?
I like it. How did you do it?
All right, everybody.
I want that too.
I can make you one.
Where did you do it? On Canva?
No, I did it in Photoshop.
Oh, yeah. That's
but
good.
The templates I had to come up with myself. I had to make it trial and error. But now
what happens if you take me away? Do you still have the blue strip on the background?
Yeah, I have to change templates in if I elect to do it. Usually I'll just put a background.
Yeah. Okay.
So now she's not sure why it's not showing. That's because you have to give permission.
How do you know it's a she?
Sorry. I'm not sure why it's you have to
I'm
give
just
permission.
wondering.
Yeah. Now the link is in the description of the show. That means it's when you read about Honeybee and what we're talking about down there at the bottom of it, there was a note down there that said please go to this link and give permission for Facebook to let your information go to StreamYard. So anyway, back to this. Roman's making a very, very valid point. We're not trying to tell you don't do this. Okay, we're trying to tell you ask questions. You need to ask questions. Okay, and hopefully we've given you a little bit here where that you've raised that awareness. Okay, but always ask questions. Don't just assume your veterinarian knows it all. And me and Roman just sat here and told you we don't know it all at all, by no means. Okay, so I hope that helped. Don't you guys? One last chance. Let's get your. Roman, do you have anything to add? Get your #GPRM into the comments so you can have a chance to win the cool leash here.
Well, I think one thing, I mean, I see it very often. People think, oh, we cannot afford a trainer. You cannot afford the mistake. You
Well, and
cannot
that's just
afford
it.
the mistake. Like getting to a veterinarian, taking the prescription, paying for the vet, paying for the medication, and not knowing why it's happening, it doesn't help.
No.
I mean, I know people who had dogs aggression, and we talked about it a little bit, and then we switched food. Aggression is gone.
Right. The trigger. It was the
Right.
trigger. Always remember, a dog that's reactive is reacting to something, a trigger. So if your dog lunges at your neighbor, the first thing should be going into your mind, what made my dog think he had to do that? And that makes you aware to look for a trigger. Okay.
Another example, I worked with a guy who actually was a Pyrenees, and he was attacking one of his relatives, and we didn't know why. Right? Until he told me the story and kind of described me the case. And I recognized that every time the person had his hands in his pocket, the dog attacked the person. Guess what came to my mind? That dog maybe was shock collar trained.
Yep,
And indeed,
right.
that's what happened. And what the shock collar trainer did, he had his hand in his pocket so the dog doesn't see the shock collar.
Yeah.
So the old man comes in the house with the hands in his pocket, and voila, the dog took him down.
That's right. I had one where it came into rescue. He would hide it in the palm of his hand, and the dog saw the back of his hand, and he would say, no, zap. So that dog had two triggers when you offered the olive branch for one, and when you said no. Well, we don't want to say no to our dogs anyway, because that means we assume that they know right from wrong. All right.
Right.
And there's too much association with that word. But yes,
yeah, we can talk forever about
ask questions.
cases.
Yeah, ask questions. And once again, send me that information about the natural stuff in the storms, and we'll definitely, I'll get it sent to Nancy too. But you saw Nancy in there, but and let's see if we can put it to use too, because you always have to have your ideas there. So Steve@GPRescue.com, that's where you can send me that information, and I'm sure would appreciate it. Okay.
Thank you so much for having me here today.
Let's do our drawing. And thanks for coming on, Roman. I'm sorry you had a little bit of technical difficulties early on, but
Kickstart.
I had it covered. Angie was going to be there with us. So, all right, folks, one more second to get it in here, and we're going to do the spin. So here it comes up, and bye, Roman. Here we go. So how was the dog cured, or did he continue to hate the shock collar man? Well, that depends. That was Roman's thing, and I didn't remember Roman had a previous appointment for tonight. It takes patience. You got to put your patience cap on, okay? And then we have to trigger that trauma with a good memory instead of a painful memory, okay? How we do that, well, there's other methods. It depends on the individual dog at the time. All right. Okay, just a couple more seconds. Everybody get your hashtag GPRM to the comments so we can do our giveaway, because we're on overtime. Oh, wait a minute. I'm the only one that up here that would care, right? I don't care. So, but anyway, we're giving away a nice 6-foot collar. I believe it's 6 foot. I guess better look. Yep, 6-foot collar. And that's standard collar. And the reason why they make collars 6 feet is so, well, you're not forced to invade your dog's personal space while on a walk, and the other way around. Personal space is 3 feet on average. So that's why leashes are 6 feet long. All right, here we go. I guess it's time to do the drawing. And good luck, everybody. I'm going to have to put sound effects with this, aren't I? I have them. Elizabeth. All right. Yeah, I know Elizabeth somewhat. Send me an email, Elizabeth, in case you forgot it. There it is right there. Congratulations on winning the leash, and you send me your mailing information, your shipping information, and I will get that right out to you. So everybody, thank you so much for coming on the show. Okay. Congratulations, Elizabeth. So next week, another show. Hopefully Linda will be back, but she's just busy right now. Okay. So we'll have another dog on. Maybe we can get a couple puppies on with GPRS. That would be cool too, wouldn't it? So, oh, I forgot. I couldn't remember the dog's name. Colby and Brandy. Yeah. So thank you, Elizabeth. And anytime. I mean, that's what we do. We try to give out the best information we can at the time. Okay. Once again, we're not vets, we're behaviorists. All right. We consult with vets to clear medical on dogs that we're working with, because an ear infection will make a Great Pyrenees grumpy in a heartbeat. All right. And so we have to clear all of that. All right, everybody. I'm going to, I feel almost lonely up here. So next week, same time, same station. And thank you, everybody, for coming on. And we'll see you next week. And if you have any questions, put them in your comments. We'll go back and review them, hopefully on all 8 destinations. All right, everybody. Bye now.